Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Jack Oates to go. You either know or you don't. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Let's get right into this. I think we all overlooked this, honestly. Okay, so this last chapter was super dope. Of course, the battle it's starting to get really, really lit. Of course, we have demonic Lola Pechka, Gaja getting impaled by her hand, and then Noelle losing her form, Rill actually stepping up and doing something, but ultimately just getting packed up. Then Charlotte still standing after getting hit by barrages of the cursed blood, and it's just absolutely wild right now. However, I'm put up here two parts of this chapter that I think was the most important and very telling of what Inhumagicula is. So, I want to point out this quote that she says here. She says that she only tinkered with the curse a bit and made her a devil. I thought I'd give her some good memories before she dies. So, the point the part I want to point out is where she says she only tinkered with the curse a bit. And then look at the picture I put below it. This is her curse at work. It's decaying world, right? Now look at the actual curse. These are words. These are inscriptions. What do we know? What kind of magic do we know already that uses that? It's rune magic. This is the same stuff. It's different though. It is the actual night side of runes. So if you guys have been following what I've been doing, I said in the last video, like I dead ass spent like at least $1,000 in the last 2 days on books, and that's not even including the two that I got. But one of these books that I just got, if you watch the unboxing video, is called The Night Side of Runes by Dr. Thomas Carlson. I've already used some of his references on this channel, so you guys might be familiar with it. However, he goes into full-on depth into how Norse mythology connects with not only all mythology, but more specifically the Kabbalah and all that stuff. It's actually called the Gothic Kabbalah, is something that a term that he coined, but the ideas are not fully his own. He didn't create all of it, but he did expand on some of these things and make the parallels where there should have been. So one of the things I do want to point out is that these triads are a thing. We've gone over this as far as the triads in the Kabbalistic sense, where your highest triad is supernal, then your next one is the ethic triad right in the middle, and then the last and lowest triad is the magical triad, or sometimes they call it something else, but I forget. But I just use magical triad. Now, in Norse mythology, there are still triads here, and I won't go over them all right now, but I will go over one. And this one is called the Triad of Destruction, or Passing Away to a New Arising. So, there are 3 beings that are attributed to this triad, and the beings are Hel, Fenrir, and Jormungandr. So, in this scenario, Hel would be Magicula in this one. And I only say that because it just makes sense that it would be Hel. Because let's look at how devils have been portrayed so far. We've had Lilith, Nama, we look at Lucifero, and we look at Xenon's devil. Obviously all high ranking, right? But they all have to do with forces of nature and the universe. Absolute things. Very extreme sense of fire, very extreme sense of ice. Then you have gravity, things you need to abide by. This is a law of reality, the universe. Then space. You need space to live in it. You cannot avoid that. And remember, we talked about how this is the grasp that devils have. And even in this book, The Night Side of Runes, Carlson says that both the gods and the devils essentially worked together to create the universe itself. So these, even though these are devils and yeah, they're locked away, it doesn't mean that they don't have say in what goes on, because this world is partly theirs. And I point that out in a post that I made on Twitter, where you see the overlapping of Malkut and Nemat. And Nemat is where Nama resides in the Qliphoth. And they overlap, and the overlap is the actual planet. So this just shows the hold that, and the stake that both heaven and hell have on earth. So I have hell, and hell is the highest of that triad. So in this, even though this whole triad itself is the lowest, hell is the highest part of this triad. Now, at the bottom of this triad, we have Jormungandr and Fenrir. And of course, you probably know where I'm going. Charmy. As said in the last video, I was going to mention Charmy and why she is considered one of the curse lovers in my Jack Clover video. We have to remember that Fenrir is pretty much the agent of all destruction. This is the telltale sign that Ragnarok is here and everything's going to shit. That is a telltale sign. Now, they have Fenrir here listed as a demon. And while this isn't really like, of course, Fenrir didn't really do anything good for the betterment of like the world and the universe, but I do still find it interesting to label him as a demon, as to where in just the mythology that he's in, it's almost like he's a god, but it's like, just untamed god. But here as a devil, Fenrir makes sense. So I made this post just arbitrarily. It was just a random observation that I'd made, that Fenrir's eyes and Lucifero's eyes are very, very similar. Lucifero has a bit of extra stuff going on, but pretty much very similar. And one thing I didn't notice until I started rereading Black Clover for the 50th time is that when we first meet Fenrir, when he escapes the sheep's clothing, Charmy's grimoire goes black. Half of it goes black. And that can only mean there's a demonic presence behind that. That's the only way that happens. So I think in Black Clover, Fenrir, what she has, that wolf, is considered a devil. Now, I do want to read this excerpt. This is going off of the three triads, the triad of destruction, or the passing away to a new arising. And off that, before I get into this, the passing away to a new arising, or the triad of destruction, makes sense with what Magicula is doing here. So if you look at the inscriptions that she's doing, and this is decaying world, that curse magic, this is not a law of nature, really. This is kind of a law of reality. You need destruction, decay, in order for new things to grow. So while this is not something like time, gravity, all that stuff, this can actually be perceived as time, because time decays. With time comes decay. So that could be an interpretation thing. But we do have a mage like Julius, so we can probably say that they mean time in a more literal sense here. But we need decay. And this is where Magicula falls into that. So let me read this, and we're gonna talk about Charmy a little bit more, because while talking about this triad of destruction, Dr. Carlson goes on to say that he talks about dwarves. He's just straight up goes into dwarves. And here he says the four dwarves represent the four cardinal directions. I've talked about this briefly on this channel. On a surface. In Nordic spirituality, 2 more directions are used, which makes 6 in all. The directions up and down are represented by the eagle and the reptile. I can't say the names, I'm sorry. I'm just not good at these names. These are awful, and there's so many consonants, I don't know how to say them. The 2 foremost archetypes for the sky and the underworld. The eagle and the reptile are the 2 poles of the vertical line. They interact through the communication carried by the squirreled Ratatosk. In all ancient religions and worldviews, the world pillar is of great importance. The world pillar is the vertical line that exists in the center of the world and links what is above with what is below. So he went on to talk about these dwarves, and there are four that represent the four cardinal directions. Like I said, I talk about it on the channel, and I was probably talking about a part of that as well. But it seems to me that the dwarves had something to do with putting away these devils. Now we have tools like the anti-magic sword, the swords that Asta has in his possession. While they already had this anti-magic attribute to them before Asta even got to them or was able to put anti-magic into them. And we even see Licht use it to deflect a dark spell that Yami has, to also deflect spells that Lumiere threw. So you know for a fact that these are truly anti-magic swords without the actual energy of anti-magic coming from Liu Bei. So to me, this says that dwarves are coming very soon. And it might come a bit late just because we have Charmy on this battlefield. And I don't know what's going to happen with Fenrir, or how, or her wolf. Let's not name it, I guess. I can't say it for a fact, but with everything we have, I think it's safe to say it is Fenrir, but we'll say just her wolf. Something's going to happen. Something big is going to happen. It's to be coupled with Hel and Jormungandr in a triad of destruction and labeled as a demon, and you have Charmy's Grimoire that goes half black when Fenrir comes out, only when Fenrir comes out. Then it goes back to normal, when it's back to cotton magic with her sheep and all that. To me, it seems like something really bad is about to happen. And this was not something that probably even the Triad foresaw, because I don't think they understand that what Charmy has and how capable she is with that wolf at her possession. So I did want to bring that up because just especially the blatant title of this book that I'm referring to is called The Night Side of Runes, the flip side of them. Now, not all runes can be reversed. There's actually 4 groups that he describes. One can be inversed, where the operation is opposite, but the meaning is somewhat the same. And then the second group is where the meaning is inverted but not reversed. And then you have the third group where it's like reversed but not inverted. And then the last group is completely unchangeable. So it's a really cool read, and I'm gonna probably kind of read excerpts out of the book to you guys, and just to have as reference on the channel. But that's kind of what I wanted to bring up. This was super important, and to look at these dark runes at work here, and remember, I wanted to point this out earlier, and I'm sorry that it didn't. I get so easily sidetracked. Remember, in the training of working with these runes, God just says that you have to tell the runes what you want. And Zora says some of the same things when setting up his arrays. You have to tell it what you want so it operates that way. So she even says she had to just tinker with the curse a bit. She had to tinker with the wording, the lettering of it. So it's... I think this is pretty obvious that this is just dark rune magic, or in other words, the night side of runes. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. I hope you saw some value in that. If not, it's whatever. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Try to make these videos kind of short. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below or on Twitter. You guys know where to find me. Thank you guys for sticking around this long. I know I ramble. I know I get sidetracked a lot, but hopefully you kept up. Just shoot me any questions, death threats, or anything in the comment section, and I'll try to get to it. I don't get notifications, so I legit just have to manually look at it to see if anyone commented. So I'll try to do that. But in the meantime, you guys stay cool, stay out the way. It's been Jack Goes to Go. You either know or you don't.